that is the lesson that hopefully future governments will draw from this summer.
What about future versions of yourself, Trudeau? Here's Tyrant Trudeau, the hypocrite, earlier this year.
Regardless of the fact that we are attacking your fundamental rights or limiting your fundamental rights, and the Charter says that's wrong, we're still going to go ahead and doing it. It's basically a loophole that allows a majority to override fundamental rights of a minority.
What an arrogant ass. There's just no other word to describe Trudeau. Even though we know it's wrong to restrict your freedom, we're going to do it anyway.
He basically just told the good-hearted Canadians that elected him that they do not deserve the rights in the Canadian Charter.
The good Canadian people are sick of hypocritical, phony, insincere, duplicitous, egotistical, condescending tyrants like Trudeau.
The Notwithstanding Clause does is says, regardless of the fact that we are attacking your fundamental rights or limiting your fundamental rights, and the Charter says that's wrong, we're still going to go ahead and do it. It's basically a loophole that allows a majority to override fundamental rights of a minority. And that's why I agree with my father that it is not a great thing to have in a Charter of Rights and Freedoms. But the political calculation he had to make, and he certainly didn't talk to me about it at the time, so I have no greater insight than your average professor of history and politics, is that it was better to have a charter with this clause in it than to not have a charter at all, and understand that Canadians themselves would enforce a high political cost on anyone who said, well, no, this bill that contravenes people's fundamental rights is worth invoking the Notwithstanding Clause and suspending the application of the Charter. Unfortunately, many years later, that political cost hadn't appeared or materialized in the way that perhaps my father would have hoped. And we now get to reflect on whether or not there can even be preemptive use of the Notwithstanding Clause. At the same time, however, I will point out that the Charter of Rights and Freedoms is seen more favorably in